are open to doing business this month, whether that's bringing in a player on a permanent or loan deal.
We are open to every option. Obviously, we can find a solution that is short, medium, and long. It's always much better because it gives you stability and you don't have to constantly start a process with a new player. But let's see what happens. Let's see what the news are in the next few weeks, and we will try to make the right decision.
Again, a very interesting balancing act of, do you want that one player who might carry you over the line and deliver that Premier League title, or do you want to potentially risk just upsetting the apple cart a little bit?
It's felt like in recent transfer windows that Arsenal have risked upsetting the apple cart when you consider the players they brought in when they've been in a position of strength. You go back to signing David Raya when Aaron Ramsdale had a really good season for Arsenal. And in the summer, I think they surprised us with what they did in the defensive areas when they brought in Christian Mosquera and Piero Hincapié. But it's paid off because Arsenal have suffered with injuries. They've had 127 injury-related player appearances missed this season. 18 players have missed at least one Premier League match. So I think if they see a market opportunity, they see a player that ideally they were looking at for the summer and getting in January, then they'll try and do it. But I would be surprised if they look to do anything in this transfer window, especially with players like Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz returning from injury. It feels like the strongest squad in the Premier League right now. But Arsenal have shown time and time again, even whilst they look strong on paper, whilst they've got players in every single position of the pitch, 2 players in every single position of the pitch, if they see someone they think can help them towards this first Premier League title since 2004, then they will look to do something.
Whilst we have seen injuries at Arsenal giving opportunities to others this season, not necessarily Ethan Nwaneri, just 6 sub-appearances in the Premier League. So what might this month hold for him?
I honestly don't think he'll end up going anywhere, because Mikel Arteta will be saying to everyone, I don't want to lose any players. This represents my best ever opportunity to win a Premier League title. We have on paper the strongest squad in the Premier League. We've got a little bit of daylight between us and Manchester City at the moment. And any injuries that occur in the second phase of the season, when you are into the latter stages of cup competitions and you are in the business end of the season, the last thing you want to do is loan someone out who, it might be right for Ethan Nwaneri to go and get game time, but what happens if they suffer a couple of injuries and suddenly they're down to the bare bones in a position and they think, well, we shouldn't have let him go on loan. Yes, it was the right thing to do for the player, but was it the right thing to do for Arsenal Football Club? And right now he'll be saying, I don't want anyone to leave the building because the players that are here understand what we're about, understand the philosophy. I don't have to re-coach anyone that comes in. I don't have to worry. Just keep it as it is. If we can add to it, fine. But they won't want to risk upsetting what they've got. And that's a really talented squad that is capable now, it feels like, at the halfway stage of the Premier League campaign to get the job done. If the first half of the season is replicated, Arsenal are going to be Premier League champions.
Arsenal sit top of the Premier League table after a fantastic start to the season. Most pundits argue they have the strongest squad that they've ever had in Premier League history. Could Mikel Arteta, though, add more depth? Let's find out and speak to our reporter, Dharmesh, who's keeping warm in North London. Dharmesh, a very good morning to you. What do we think then? Will Arteta be tempted to push for a few new signings to help bolster those Premier League title chances?
Yeah, morning, Will. I would say at this stage, it's likely to be a quiet window in January for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta has been asked the question in previous news conferences. He said, we are Arsenal, we will keep our eyes open. I only think they will go into the market if a unique market opportunity was to present itself or a long-term target suddenly became available. But even then, you've got to realise their squad is so good, as you mentioned before, that there's at least 2 players in each position. Mikel Arteta is having to leave out certain players from his 20-man squad, let alone his first 11. And if you look at January, Arsenal, like many other clubs, go into a summer transfer window and they don't think, let's go big in January. That's never the approach. And the last time they actually did any kind of key business in a January transfer window, you have to go back back to January 2023. That's 3 years ago, when Leandro Trossard, Jakub Kiwior and Jorginho all joined the club. So you'd have to say at this stage, it looks like it's going to be a quiet window for Arsenal. But as you say, you never know. And with what Mikel Arteta has been saying in news conferences, and I'm sure he'll be asked the question again this morning, he says that we are always alert to any opportunity.
Yeah, and look, it was a good result, wasn't it, last night for Arsenal, with Manchester City, Dharmesh, drawing up at Sunderland. A 4-point lead, a new year for Mikel Arteta and his side, and they'll want to pick up exactly where they left off in 25.
Oh, 100%, and I'm sure they really enjoyed Manchester City dropping points at the Stadium of Light last night. But as far as Arsenal are concerned, what a way to end 2025 with that statement victory over Aston Villa by 4-1 at the Emirates. And look, the games are coming thick and fast, though, aren't they? They've got Bournemouth tomorrow. It will be their 5th game in 15 days. I know every other club has got that problem as well with this fixture schedule, but Arsenal's season so far, even though they are top, has been blighted by injuries. But you get the impression that they are moving closer to a fully fit squad. You'll know that Kai Havertz returned to the squad against Aston Villa for the first time since the opening day of the season. Gabriel Jesus scored his first goal for Arsenal since New Year's Day in 2025. There are a few other injury issues that Arsenal have got in the form of Christian Mosquera, Ricardo Calafiori, and of course Declan Rice, who missed that game against Aston Villa. They should be on the mend and returning very, very soon. Let's see if the Bournemouth game is too soon, but I'm sure Mikel Arteta normally keeps his cards close to his chest, but we will ask him if there are any updates on those players. He's addressing the media, Will, at around 9:30 this morning. We'll bring you the best of that right here on Sky Sports News. And of course, Bournemouth against Arsenal is the live Saturday night football coverage. Gets underway on Sky Sports Premier League tomorrow from around 5 p.m.
Dharmesh, cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Mr. Dan Gosling. So look, Arsenal are in a great position. They've got a deep squad that has been doing the business. If you're Mikel Arteta, do you stick with what you've got, or do you try and bring something in Jan?
Really difficult. Dharmesh said it, if a unique opportunity came along, then they'll be there, like every top club should be. Semenyo is a unique opportunity, I believe.
Are you surprised they didn't move on that?
I am, but at the same time, they are well stocked in wide areas. They're well stocked through the middle. Gabi Jesus has just come back, started scoring. They've got Kai Havertz on the verge of coming back. So there's another 2 attackers where arguably they could get in the starting 11. So I'm not totally surprised, because there's just no room for him. Maybe if they sold one and got him in, I believe they could have done that. Possibly Trossard, maybe. There was links last year of Trossard. He ended up staying.
I mean, arguably there's no room for him at City, but Pep's stockpiling him as well.
yeah, I agree. I think the difference is Arsenal's wingers are contributing a lot of goals. To take someone out, Saka plays no matter what. Obviously, Gyökeres they've spent big money on, so he normally plays. It's just the left-hand side, and Martinelli and Trossard have rotated that. That's probably the side where if anywhere, I would see Semenyo. But at the same time, Martinelli's young, he's improving all the time. Trossard gets really important goals. Important goals.
I was going to say, Trossard's had a great season this year. You've got Eberechi Eze as well, who can play out on the left, that they spent quite a lot in. Dan was going to ask you, being in a changing room during a transfer window, a team that's doing so well, top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League, is there a risk that if you do bring someone in, it could just disturb things a little bit?
Yeah, there is that. I think if Semenyo did go to, say, an Arsenal, I think that the 2 guys on the left would be a little bit concerned and think, where's my game time coming? So it can upset it a little bit. So I don't see Arsenal moving for Semenyo, to be honest. I think in another window, in maybe the summer possibly, where they'd have more time to sort the squad out. But at this moment in time, and the other caveat is people don't want to leave Arsenal right now. Yeah. They're on the verge of winning the Premier League for the first time in 15, 20 years. So, why would you want to leave when you're playing a big part in the squad?
And it's hard to argue against what we just mentioned there, this Arsenal squad being the strongest in Premier League history. I mean, look, the Invincibles were incredible, but as a squad and as a group of players, and 2 and 3 in every position now, James. But where if they did look to strengthen, and we've heard this phrase twice over the last 5 minutes, this unique opportunity, positionally, where would they be weakest in looking?
Well, look, unique opportunities come and go. Look, these clubs have plans throughout. They have plans for a year, 2 years, 3 years in advance. if a player that they're looking at maybe getting in the summer all of a sudden comes available in January and they think they can steal a march on one of their rivals, then they could potentially jump and do it. Arsenal are in that position to do that if they need to. If you talk about Arsenal's weak, look, it's very difficult to see a weakness in that squad. It is the deepest squad I've ever seen at Arsenal, ever. They've got replacements in every single position, players that Mikel Arteta now trusts, which was an issue previous seasons where he didn't trust those players to come in, hence why he had such a tight group to play so many minutes and so many games, led to a lot of injuries. I think the back line with obviously Mosquera's injury maybe leaves them maybe a little bit vulnerable at times, but still we've seen them cope without Gabriel, without Saliba. Ben White didn't play much, then he's come in. Timbers missed a couple of games. Calafiori's out, but you got Lewis Skelly still there. You feel like with this Arsenal side, there are still two players in every single position, and they're not just like a squad player. They are two players that you feel could play for a lot of Premier League sides and do a wonderful job as well.
I know James is answering this, but just finally on Arsenal, on City, on Semenyo, on the title race, does the Semenyo signing, which looks like it's imminent for City, give them the advantage, do you think, in the title race, Dan?
I think it's going to go down to the wire. I think it's going to be really close. I see it as a two-horse race. Villa are doing fantastic, and that they could add as well with a couple departing. But I don't see them lasting. I think you could see the gulf in quality the other night when Arsenal played them. I think they overran them in the end. After Villa's strong start, they could have went 1 or 2 up, to be honest. But in the end, I think that the quality's shown. Semenyo gives Man City more goals.
Is that a fence you're sitting on there, Dan?
I still believe City will actually come back and win it, to be honest.
Got there in the end, Dan.
Ya saltan 1K y el Barrio. Es determinante cuánto daño puede hacer el conjunto de 1K, sobre todo con Granero en esas primeras de cambio en la salida de escalera. Así que esa parte del partido va a ser absolutamente clave para el equipo de Iker Casillas. Por cierto, felicitar porque ha venido una buena afición de 1K.
Tiene la pelota Gerard Noya en cara, sigue Noya, dispara, Arnalot.
80
paradas ya para Arnalot. Gil Vidal ataca desde la derecha el número 9. Gil Vidal con el centro, buena pelota, Arché con la rodilla le pegó. Pues es el que desatasca un poco el partido, ¿no? Con centros, ojo ahí, se golpeó, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Mar Valiente! ¡Gol! ¡Del Barrio! ¡Marca Mar Valiente! Esa banda izquierda que es terreno de los cañonazos de Granero, a la que tengo un mínimo de espacio, le pega Granero. Bueno, pues es decirlo, y ahí lo tenemos. El tema es que el remate le ha salido centrado. Abraham, buena pelota, banda derecha. Vamos a ver qué hace ahí Fran Rodríguez. Se mete en el área, sigue Fran. ¡Qué bien, Fran! Se va de 2, el remate fuera.
¡Chicos!
A ver si acierta. ¡Claro que sí! Busca el Barrio el segundo gol. Arché para Gil. Gil que le puede pegar a este Gil. Buen recorte. ¡Gil! ¡Al palo! ¡Levanta Arché!
¡Dios! ¡No! Madre mía, qué parada. Y a centímetros del remate, ¿eh?
No, la reacción ha sido impresionante. ¡El disparo! ¡Madre de Dios! ¡Otro que vuela! ¡Otro más! Que está la pelota para John de la Cruz, la quiere levantar, vuelve a pegar la pelota en el cuerpo de un jugador del Barrio, el remate con la puntera y acaba deteniendo a Gerard Vacas. Será córner favorable a 1K. Bueno, a ver.
Gol doble.
A ver, saque de banda. Balón puesto en movimiento, intentaba rematar Mar Valiente, el remate, ¡gol! ¡Bauer! ¡Gol!
Y es
penalti
normal.
Madre
mía lo de los penaltis.
Penalti normal. Y el que quiere hacer el 0-3 es el número 4, pega Valiente. ¡Vaya cañón! ¡Gol! Ahí están Arnalot y Vacas como candidatos, como guardametas, y también Mar Valiente y Pau Ferojo la recuperación. Tiene la pelota al Barrio que puede sentenciar el remate. ¡Gol!
Knockout.
Ponme el 5.
El cambio del partido ha sido radical en los últimos 10 minutos. El balón que lo tiene. ¡Ojo!
¡Ay! Jaimitada.
Marca de nuevo el Barrio, gol de Fran Fuentes. el equipo de Juan Arroita, que no ganaba un encuentro con esta tranquilidad, entre comillas, al final, con un margen tan amplio, con 2 goles dobles que han hecho pasar el partido del 0-3 al 0-7.
Paufer, ha costado, pero por fin ha llegado esa victoria tan deseada con goleada.
Ha costado mucho, pero bueno, le damos emoción hasta el momento final, recta final, y ahora, pase lo que pase con Pío, nos lo jugaremos contra ellos.
Eso te iba a decir, pase lo que pase con Pío, la semana que viene, o ellos o tú, o tu ex equipo o tú.
Bueno, o el barrio o ellos, pero sí. La vida, yo qué sé, no sé, son cosas muy raras que suceden, pero ahí estaremos. Ahora estoy en el barrio, así que espero que gane el barrio.
Enhorabuena y a disfrutarlo.
Gracias.